Hello all, and welcome to the 20th episode of Beth the Chef. Now, it's souffle time. We're going to go for it, and if you're watching this now, obviously the video has worked. Now, the reason behind doing these souffles, well, I like souffles, and I've done twice baked souffles before. Normal souffles once, never any sweet ones, so might have to look into that sometime. Fun fact time. Souffle comes from the word souffler, and in French it means to rise, which is hopefully what will happen with our souffles. The idea behind this dish as well is like any dish you aim for, create layers and textures. So as you will see later on, we've got smoky cheese, bit of saltiness from the cheese as well, combined with sweetness, candied walnuts, and pickled Granny Smith, which would lift the whole dish up as well. And what you will learn as well in this video is the 5 mother sauces. And these are the key sauces into chefing. Once you know the basics, let your imagination grow wild. So it's quite easy for me, really. Because to remember the 5 mother sauces, I just remember my name, Beth V. So B is for bechamel, which we're going to do today. E, Espagnole sauce. T for tomato. H for hollandaise. And V is for that nice velouté. So, I'll speak a bit more about bechamel, but without further ado, let's cook. Right, so the first stage for our dish is the sweet element of our candied walnuts. And for this, I've got in here 100 grams of walnut halves. You also need a lined tray as well. And I'm just going to scatter them all over the tray, make sure they're evenly distributed. There we go. And in here is just 25 grams of caster sugar. I'm just going to add 1.5 to at most teaspoons of cold water. Mix it up, and then I'm just going to coat the walnuts. And candied walnuts are great for sweet dishes, to top on carrot cakes or coffee cakes, are nice. Or for more savoury dishes, walnuts and pistachios are good for beetroot. One dish at the Alverton was beetroot carpaccio with some candied pistachios, a little bit of mint, and some nice feta. Just simple elements brought together, a nice starter. You think that hotel where I was at had a nice terrace across the outside, and yeah, it's just one of those dishes, nice to eat, maybe with a cocktail in the summer on the terrace. Lovely. So once they're coated nicely, and I've preheated my oven, but you want to heat it at 170 degrees. And yeah, in they go. Keep an eye on them, but it will probably take between 5 and 7 minutes. Right, so while the walnuts are doing their thing, we are moving on to more acidic element to the dish. The pickling liqueur for our pickled apples, and we're also going to use Granny Smith apple that should add a little bit more of a bite there. So for your liqueur, I've got 50 ml of water, just cold water, mixed with 50 ml of white wine vinegar. In here is 5 grams of fine sea salt and 15 grams of caster sugar. Obviously a pan for in a minute. And I'm going to add all this in a pan along with pickling spice, and a third to half a teaspoon of this just adds a great flavour, and it's also great while pickling onions at Christmas. As you can see here, well, if you've got very good glasses. But there's coriander seeds, mustard seeds, ginger, black pepper, cloves, pimento, bay leaf, maize, bird's eye chilli. So all combined. Not only wonderful in its own right, but wonderful with a smoky Applewood soufflé. So it just all goes into a pan. And it's going to go on a low heat until you can see the sugar and the salt is dissolved. And leave it to cool down before adding the apple. So your apple doesn't start cooking or going brown in colour. So I've just taken my walnuts out of the oven. And I'm just going to finish off with a little dusting. There we go. Yeah, so as you can see, the sugar and the salt is dissolved. It didn't take long at all. And you should be able to smell those spices coming through. I'm just going to take off the heat, leave it to cool. I'll transfer it to a bowl. So pickling liqueur has cooled down nicely. I've peeled my Granny Smith, and I'm just going to do nice dices straight into the liqueur for a nice coating of it. And the idea behind this salad is, along with our chicory, some nice chicory leaves, and it's just a little modern take on a Waldof salad, which is, yeah, another French classic. Okay. And every now and then just give it a nice coating, leave it in the fridge, because obviously you want the pickling liqueur for nice flavour and to keep those apples with a nice colour as well. Alright, so I've got all the ingredients for the soufflé. It's lined up a little bit like that Generation game. Yeah, I'm not too young to know about that. I've heard about that game. So yeah, I'll go through the ingredients, and Don't be afraid of soufflés because I'm going to show you just how easy it is. And if you know the little techniques and what to look for, what to aim for, yeah, let's say it. It's easy. So, here is 200 mils of milk. And we got 3 eggs separated. We have 33 grams of plain flour. This is all to make 2 soufflés, by the way. Little pot of spices. Now in here is 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and some ground black pepper, about 1/3 to 1/2 teaspoon of that. And this is just to extend the flavours, let's say, of the Applewood. In here is 40 grams of butter, just unsalted butter, but you are going to need a little bit more later for greasing your ramekins. Got about 20 grams of panko breadcrumbs. Again, this is to grease your ramekins. And now the cheddar. So in here is about 80 grams of the smoked Applewood. And I love this cheese. Once you taste it, you'll know why. This cheese is actually from Ilchester. And yeah, it would make sense with the paprika, but it's smoked and has some nice paprika in it. So what we're going to do is create our sauce. Now, the sauce for it is, like we said earlier, the bechamel. Once you know the bechamel, we're not going to add the cheese till later on, but if you add a cheese to bechamel sauce, you create a sauce mornay. So impress your guests with that one. Once I've got the pan on the heat, and what you do is you add the butter. And I'm just gradually adding the flour, mixing it in. And you want to cook the flour out. Same process actually with choux pastry, but I'll double check there. I'm guaranteed it's different quantities. You now want to gradually add your milk, stir your milk in. And keep mixing so you can get it nice and smooth. What I'm going to do to this now, let's get the spoon, it's just now folding the seasoning there. Just just so you can get an even distribution of your flavours. Makes it a nice colour as well. Yeah. Right, so just put the bechamel into a bowl. Now it's cooled down a little. And you need a big bowl. It will make sense later on. I'm just going to mix in the egg yolks and the cheese. And I'll be a little thorough with this right now. But be delicate later on. And that's because whipping the egg whites and then going straight in, you don't want to knock too much air out. Think of it like the macaroon episode. You don't want to knock too much air out, or it might go more towards a pancake. Right, so I've got the 2 ramekins on a flat tray. It's just because it's going to be a hell of a lot easier taking it out the oven later than imagine 2 big oven mitts, like, yeah. So yeah, I've just mounted a little knob of butter, probably 15 grams if you really want to know the amounts. And I'm just dipping my brush in, making sure all the sides are covered well. And doing this obviously helps it not stick to the ramekin, but helps a bit with the rising of it as well, to get that soufflé. A few of your breadcrumbs in, just like you would, you know, with a ramekin or for cake maybe. Use your hand to dust all around. And yeah, do the same with the other one. Right, so we're now over to the mixer, and yeah, the whites go straight in. And just whip up to stiff peaks. You know, the whole putting it over your head, and so it doesn't look like a big bird has shat on you. It stays in the bowl. So off we go. Right, so got my whites whipped up. Let's preheat the oven to 200 degrees. And you just want to gradually fold in your whites. Now, yeah, be delicate, but at the same time, don't whip too much air out. And get your 2 ramekins. Go between each one, and I'll show you a trick just in a moment. And just with a knife, lightly go around the edge. And what that should do is help them rise, and like with a souffle, I don't know if you see that, create like a top hat effect. Now these are going to go in the oven, yep, 200 degrees. Keep an eye on them, but about 25 minutes. Right, so I'm just going to sort the salad out while the soufflés are doing their thing in the oven. Just so we can simply, when they're done, go straight onto the plate and into our gobs. Yeah, I've got some chicory, and chicory's not only looks nice and has a nice texture in the leaf, but it's a good flavour as well. I think of it as like baby jam watercress love child. So you got the crunch, if not a better crunch than baby jam, but you got the pepperiness of the watercress. I'm gonna add my apple. And the big seeds. Just get that one there. That one, for example, try and dodge those ones, but the little ones are great for a little crunch. This is too big and your mouth will go a bit numb. I don't know if you saw the picture before, saw last week's video, but I'm going with the same presentation as last time I did the soufflés. Dot your walnuts into each boat. Lovely. And yeah, just chill out for 10 minutes or watch your soufflés in the oven. Right, and here we have it. Our smoky Applewood cheddar souffle with our nice Waldof salad of the chicory leaves, pickled Granny Smith and candied walnuts. So spread the word, Beth the chef. Join us next week where we're going to be doing some scallops seared in a nice chili and garlic butter with a celeriac veloute, one of the final of the mother sauces, and we're going to make celeriac and apple rosti. Bon appetit!